Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome along to the Raw Link Up podcast. I'm your host, the amazing Sniper Beef. Welcome along to episode 9. Today, I'm obviously joined by my co host.
Hello, guys. Devastate here, and welcome to the first podcast after the Royal Link Up. Hopefully, we have some interesting insight into our thoughts in the link up and what we thought about it. We're going to answer a couple of questions that everyone has, as well as like generally covering off all the stuff that everyone wants to know about the link up. Now it's over for 2024.
Yeah, I think we'll do we'll almost do like a debrief of the link up as it was. So there's obviously the sort of the main questions that everyone's asked. So how much was the electricity? How many calories did you consume? How much money did you spend on takeaways? And then we'll also give you our sort of take on it from a gaming perspective. What games we played? What games didn't we play? Also, obviously, what takeaways were really good. And then also what we're going to do sort of post link up now. Devastate and I will obviously continue this podcast going forward weekly, which we're both very much looking forward to. But then we'll also be doing some streaming as well, which we'll also touch on as well. So, should we dive right into it, Devastate?
Yeah, let's go.
Cool. So, one of the big questions was electric. How much electric did we spend for the week? So, if you think about it, the house that we were in usually has 3 to 4 people most of the time. So, your normal, typical, everyday family electric as it would be. And I spoke with the homeowner, and electricity wasn't actually up. It was pretty much level with what it was in June. So you would think, oh, it'd be maybe 50, £100 a day because obviously we've got 11 PCs there. You've got all massive monitors, hugely powerful gaming rigs. So you think the electricity might have a spike, but no, not really. It pretty much ran out about £10 a day. So it's £10. That's what, about $12, $13. So not actually a huge amount. I spent on electricity. So if you divide that by the number of people from the link up perspective, it's only about £6 or $8 each for the whole week, which in the grand scheme of things is absolutely nothing, which frankly I can't quite believe. I think it probably helps that there was the weather wasn't that bad. The weather was actually bad. I think obviously if the weather was really good and really hot, we may have had to like potentially look at getting an aircon unit, and then obviously that would have increased the electricity spend for sure. But I think given what the amazing weather that we had last week from a British summertime perspective, when we had like horrific rain quite a few days, it was actually quite cool, wasn't it? It was actually probably one of the coolest links I think we've ever done. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think the venue that we're in has definitely maybe the coolest or second coolest in terms of temperature. There was I think maybe only one day where I was like, oh, it's actually really warm today, and like the
Yeah.
sun because I was obviously near the window, and the sun like on that day was just beaming in on like the side of me. I was like, oh. What's the chance of me getting like was it driver's arm where you have one arm that
Yeah,
gets tanned
driver's
out the
arm. Yeah,
window?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but no, apart from like that day, it was nice and cool. I don't think it was there was anything that there was no risk of a PC overheating. Put it that way.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I remember one day I actually put like my oversized hoodie on because I was actually quite cold. Um, but yeah, takeaway, not takeaway, electricity wise, I think really good. Didn't really spend a lot.
Yeah.
Right, moving on to the next very important one was calories. What was the calorie consumption and for the week? So I did this for me, and bear in mind I got COVID. So for those of you who didn't join us for the content during the link up, I actually got COVID during the link up on the Wednesday. So Wednesday I was in bed the whole day. I didn't go to the venue. Thursday I got out of bed about 11 in the morning and then made my way over sort of just before lunchtime. So I missed basically a day and a half of calories, should we say. So, drum roll, please. I'm just looking at my spreadsheet over here, 18,328 calories over a 7 day period. And that's not too bad. That's sort of
Nice.
2,600 calories, which isn't too bad. But then I suppose if you add on it'd probably be another 3,000 calories, probably 4,500 calories. I'd probably take it up to nearer 3,000 for the week, which isn't that bad when you think about it, given the absolute horrendous diet that we had during the week. So I'm just going to pick out the Monday. I had a Toby Carvery breakfast bap of 2 sausages and 2 bacon. Lunch was a chicken shop, chicken burger and chips, and then dinner was a kebab wrap. I mean, it's just a horrific day of food, nutrition and calorie wise. But that day in itself was 3,500 calories, which actually is not horrific, is it? It's bad. It's way over my maintenance calories, but it's not actually too bad. But
I think you were
honestly,
quite good though, because you didn't have like what I call almost like the intermediate things. You didn't have any like sweets in between, did you?
no, like
You,
yeah, like
you
Rage had literally bars and bars of Dairy Mill, Galaxy, and I was very
yeah,
envious. Whereas to your point, usually there's snacks galore available, isn't there? But I think
yeah,
because we did most days, we ordered a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. There wasn't really that need because I remember in previous years we would turn up and I'd have usually had breakfast and then I'd have some snacks just to keep me going till lunch, and then I'd have lunch and I'd be like, still hungry because I haven't had a horrific breakfast, and then I'd have more snacks. And snacks would be
yeah.
chocolate biscuits, crisps, sweets, chocolate, donuts, you name it. Like, I remember, I think it was a couple of years ago, Nails was buying 12 boxes of 12 box donuts from Greg's like multiple times
Yeah.
during the week. Obviously, I'm a massive donut fan, so I was all over that. But
Yeah,
yes,
I didn't actually have. I can't remember really. I had like a couple of like the tiny Haribo packets,
yeah, yeah,
but about that, it was all just the big meals.
yeah.
I mean, I went through an insane amount of diet soft drinks during the
Oh,
week.
oh, yeah, oh, yes, yeah. I
So
mean,
you
I
can't
think
count them as calories, but in
no,
terms of like the bad drinks, essentially,
yeah.
they were consumed. I mean, God,
Oh,
God
I
knows.
did one day. One day I did 5 Diet Cokes.
Oh, I think I did. Well, because I was going to the fridge and I was like a 7 Up, like Diet 7 Up, or like a Rio or a Coke Zero. I was just like, I don't know. Well, I probably had probably in 6 or 7, maybe in one particular day.
Wow. The
Um,
day that I had five, I was like, I can't quite explain like how I felt. I was always just like, I was like this. I was just like bouncing. I was like, just like, although there's obviously it's not real sugar because I was just on Diet Cokes, literally just
yeah,
Diet Coke. But yeah, it was a very odd sensation because usually I'm quite good. I literally have my bottle of water and then I'll drink maybe a one cup of tea a day and that's
mm,
it. And going from that to drinking Diet Coke and then there was Tropicana as well, I think as well.
yeah.
So I had a few glasses of that. So, but yeah, it was good. Now, more importantly, onto the cost of the takeaways.
Now this
So
is for the people on the podcast listening. I was on Twitch just prior to recording this. We'll talk a bit more about streaming a bit later. But I asked everyone on Twitch how much they thought, and no one got to this number. Everyone had lowballed it. So,
wow.
um, and these are people who sort of they were engaged and they were in during the week, so they sort of knew roughly how much we were spending, but no one came close to this.
So, which restaurant do you reckon we spent the most at? So I've got it by restaurant and by day. I've got
Okay,
a spreadsheet.
so I
Which restaurant?
and
So Stacey,
we're not including opening ceremony here. This is
no, we're not
just
going to. No, no. So
okay.
this is so. Bear in mind, at the opening ceremony, for those who didn't see the opening ceremony video on TikTok, we spent £329 on Domino's at the opening ceremony, 23 pizzas. So we're excluding that. So add that figure onto the figure that we're going to come onto in a bit. So what restaurant or place did we spend the most at during the week?
See, I know at one point we had £150 order.
Yep,
I'm pretty certain.
We had two
Oh,
£150 orders.
so I'm going to say that independent pizza shop was our biggest order.
No,
Ooh.
it's £1 behind Wenzel's.
What the?
Yeah,
So
we spent
totals.
100. Yeah, we so total spend for Wenzel's was £152, and that independent pizza place was 151. But we did 4 orders from Wenzel's in
Yeah,
7 days.
I want a sponsorship from Windows next year. I want some discount codes.
Yes. And then interestingly, the 4 takeaway day was not the most expensive day.
Oh,
The day when we ordered from the independent pizza place was the most expensive day because we did £102 at Subway, £151 at the independent pizza place, and we did 65 quid in dessert as well, which took us to £318 for the day. So, yeah, anyway, drum roll. The total spend for the week across, there was 11? Yeah, 11 of us. Well, 10 plus man like Adrian, who turned up a few times. 11 of us was £1,738 across 7 days.
so and then if we add on that Domino's, it takes us over £2,000.
Oh, yeah, comfortably. So 1,738 plus 329, £2,067 for the week.
£2,067 in a week.
Yeah, 7 days, which when you think about it, like if you divide that by, it's only a couple of £100 each, isn't it?
Yeah, and look, and you go on holiday abroad, you eat out breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You spend that exactly the same amount of money. So
Yeah.
it's
So
not that heavy. You say it on like delivery food or fast food takeaways. It sounds obscene, but you go, oh yeah, we're on holiday. I went on holiday abroad, and I spent 200 quid, 250 quid on like dinners and breakfasts and lunches. No one bats an eyelid at that.
no, but it's because you're sat in a home and you have the capability to cook or make
Mm-hmm.
food yourself, but we just want to game and spend most of our time gaming. So we go on Deliveroo. I was about to say we call up Deliveroo, but no, we definitely don't
I
call up
definitely don't
Deliveroo, do
know.
we? But you think, but back in the day, Deliveroo, Just Eat, Uber Eats didn't exist, and we had to physically call them up.
Mm-hmm.
Like you couldn't order a plate; you had to call them up and go and a lot of times we had to go and get it. Like I still remember I think it was the £200 KFC order
Yeah.
that our very good friend went and picked up because I remember actually picking it up and
Mm.
we had to drive there and it was just like the whole counter was just bags of KFC. So yeah, we spent a lot
Yeah.
I think like because a lot of people are just gobsmacked by it. They're like, oh, how much did you spend on takeaway? And I'm like, yeah, and it's all right. It's 2 grand for the week, which sounds absolutely absurd, but it's yeah, it's 200 quid each. Yeah, 200 quid each,
Yeah.
roughly 200 quid
Well,
each roughly for the week.
the one thing that I would say that we hadn't really overall talked about this, but I was surprised at the vast issues we had with orders. How many
Oh,
times? How many times? Especially the early part of the week where we had stuff missing. Like
Wenzel's,
we had
Wenzel's.
Wenzel's missed something else on almost every single order. Burger King, we got a delivery, was missing a whole Whopper. We had a
Yeah,
McDonald's. I was missing a
your nuggets were missing from
yeah.
McDonald's. No, it was
Uh,
your triple cheesy, weren't it? Was your
yeah,
triple
my
cheeseburger, wasn't it?
cheeseburger was missing. Like we almost, I think I was going as far as to say 30% of the orders there was an issue wrong. There was an issue with them.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
And
about
then the
30% that something was missing, or it taken too long, and they turned up stone cold. And probably
and
more
the, and
than
these and these are massive companies as well, aren't they? They're
yeah.
massive companies. Whereas, like you think, you obviously weren't there, but the Saturday we ordered a Chinese from just a local Chinese place. They got it right, 125 quid order, so much food, and they got it all right, and they also gave us extra like 2 boxes of spring rolls extra. So it's just odd, like big companies like Wenzel's and Mackie D's can't get it right yet. These small independent places, which literally serve the local area, and that is it, get it right. Like
Yeah.
you can't make it up. It's very odd, very odd.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, should we move on to the gaming moments? Should we
Yeah, I
talk
think
through the
so.
games for
Yeah.
the week? So, what was your favorite gaming moment of the week?
My favourite gaming moment. Oh, I mean, I clenched the win in Northgard, so that's obviously quite a highlight for me. Um, um,
I'll
I
do
think
mine while you're.
oh yeah,
Oh, go on.
you go, you go.
Yeah, go on. So we were playing Gartic Phone. I can't remember if oh well, you were there. So we were playing Gartic Phone, and we for those who haven't played Gartic Phone, basically you draw so you write something. So our theme at that time was films. So you write the name of a was it no it was cartoons. Cartoons is
Cartoons, yeah.
yeah, cartoons. Um, and you write the name of a cartoon, and then someone sees it. So let's say if I wrote I don't know The Simpsons. And then Devastate would then have to draw what I've written. So then he would have to interpret what I've written and go, right, how can I draw The Simpsons? And then the next person will have to then infer what he's drawn and write what they think it is. And basically goes around the whole room, etc., etc. So it got to a point where Acidic Virus had written something and it wasn't even a word and it got to me. So he had written Gin Fur Man. And I'm like, this is so I've googled it and I'm like it's just not even a word that exists. And I then I drew a picture of a gin glass, a fir tree, and a stick man, and literally put some arrows next to it. It's a kind of a you had to be there moment to appreciate it, but honestly, I was crying, like
Yeah.
genuinely crying with laughter. I had tears streaming down my face. Literally, one
I
of the
think
funniest moments.
the whole room. You just started off the giggles, and then the whole room
Yeah,
went like,
yeah,
yeah, I remember
honestly.
that was good.
Like and it's obviously it's not like a game like a proper game like as you were from a gaming perspective, but honestly like I have not laughed like that for a very long time. That was absolute that honestly that gaming moment of the week for me by a long way.
Gartic Phone was great fun. Um, yeah, I mean, I didn't really have like the best. I mean, I played some great games. I mean, I loved playing Sins 2.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely
love I
loved
like
playing Sins 2. And I think that the fact that because I played it a couple of times before the link up, and I was sort of like coming out, like trying to help the guys as well. And like, we
yeah
went from like incredibly noob level. We
yeah
actually ended up by the end of the week actually doing pretty damn well. So
yeah. And you think
I
like
actually think that that is my big, like the best gaming moment was the rise in our quality of sins.
yeah, and since it's not a complete since it's not complete yet, is it? Because they've only
No,
got a couple of. So you think like I think we both agree that it's a really good game as it is currently. You wait until like it's properly like fully
mm-hmm.
developed and released with all the features and stuff. I think it will be like genuinely like really good, really good game. Like
Yeah,
honestly, I think it looks absolutely fantastic as well. Particularly on my new PC and my new monitor, it looked absolutely incredible. Um, but on the flip side, like no one played Civ. We didn't play any Civ.
not one
Like
game.
like it's been I'd say it's been many years since we've not played a Civ game of some sort. I mean, we even managed to get an Age of Empires game in which
Mhm.
I thought was really good. I really enjoyed that. Really good game. So yeah, very odd that we didn't play any sins. We didn't play what? There you go. What game did we want to play but didn't get round to, or should we say, did you
So
want to play?
I think like we were on board with playing GTA Racing,
Yeah,
and we
GTA
didn't get a
Racing.
chance to play that at all. Um, That's a bit gutted about, but that we there's there's only so many games that everyone has, and we get a chance to. And I think with the thing with the link up is that it's almost what you're feeling in the moment. Has
Yes.
everyone got it installed? Because if you're going, oh, I've got to download, install, I've got to uninstall something else, and move files around, then that can just in that time you might lose the buzz for the game. So you've got to be able to like get the game loaded very quickly. So I think that there was a bit of a disappointment. I think we were going to play Helldivers 2,
Yeah.
but I don't think enough people owned it to warrant. No one was not everyone was going to spend 30 quid to play a
No.
game that they might only play at the link up.
And
Um,
there's quite a few, and there's quite a few games to that point which people did play
hmm,
and then refunded.
yeah,
So, oh dear,
hmm,
I played that for 10, 15 minutes.
yeah.
got bored very quickly. That got refunded along with
So
Hoosier Daddy.
I was the one who instigated the idea, thinking it'd be a good game. Now I never played it, but I was like, this looks like a good, fun game to play at the
Yeah,
link up, and got it. And it was probably the worst game I've done. I had no idea what I was doing, and I literally was like, this game is not good enough. Like
no,
it was fun for 10 minutes, and then we'd
yeah.
done it. Then you felt like you completed it. So yeah,
And there was one other game which I was pretty disappointed in, which was the finals. Like
oh, okay,
we played the finals, and like the the respawn times are like 8 to 10 seconds after you die, and it's like you're just sitting around waiting. Whereas on the flip side, something like X Defiant, I think, got a lot of playtime
yeah,
because I like genuinely think it's a really good game, and given the fact that it's free as well, is a massive massive bonus. That you obviously respawn times are really quick. You've got a multitude of different weapons you can start with straight out the gate. You can go into it was the welcome playlist, was that? Yeah, it was a
yeah,
welcome playlist. So the max level someone can be is level 25. So you're not going to go in there with absolute experts in the game who've been playing it for 10 years already. And like it was just generally a really, really good game,
mm,
entertaining. You didn't have to be incredible at it to be okay at it. Lex was absolutely disgustingly good at it, and I was mildly acceptable. But yeah, really, like genuinely, X Defiant, I thought was a really, really good game. Really top one from the link from my perspective for sure.
that would be. I would rank that as my second favorite game of the link up. So
Yeah, I'm just
since two, then X Defiant for me this year
yeah,
be my
yeah,
one
I'd
two.
agree with that. I'd agree with that. And there's obviously the one game that we would like to have both played, but we'd never got round
We
to
didn't get chance. I
Battlefield.
think we played one ranked match, didn't we?
Of what?
PGA Tour 2K23.
Oh no,
Oh,
yeah,
was that?
no,
Were
no,
you
yeah.
not on that
Well,
one? Okay.
no, 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 no. So I was going to say Battlefield because
Oh
obviously
yes.
we tried to get Battlefield 5 going, but basically it doesn't like the fact that we're on a LAN or from the same IP address, and therefore it just kicks everyone out. So the only way that we can play Battlefield is if we rent our own server, and then it's just us playing on it, which isn't too bad. But when you're playing on enormous, enormous maps and it's only 5 on 5, it's just not that as fun.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're playing on, I don't know, 16 or 32, etc., it's a lot more engaging. But
Yeah.
we can't get it going. So unless the developers of Battlefield can figure that out from a development perspective, I think we're going to struggle from a Battlefield position going forward.
Yeah, I
Um,
do.
Unless of course we get to the point where we go with all the fans and the fans are on one side of they're on the opposite side and we're on one. But again,
I
I
think that
can't.
might expose us as to the level of gamers that we actually
Yes,
are.
yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. I'm just trying to look at the other. Yeah, but yeah, to your point, PGA Tour 2K23, we didn't get to play a huge amount of that. We played that right at the start,
Hmm.
but didn't play a lot of it, which I wasn't like downhearted about, but like I just do it. I'm a big golfer anyway, so I
Yeah.
do enjoy the game anyway. Um,
And
yeah.
as
Any other?
usual, like Golf with Your Friends was played
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
every
Loads.
day.
Yeah.
Everyone enjoys that game. It's just a fun game that everyone could just get involved with. If you're at the link up, even if you're not at the link up, some of the other gamers who couldn't be there this year joined online to play that, which was very, very nice.
I just want to talk through my prowess on golf with your friends, just as a side tangent.
All right, go on then.
I only came out of the top two in one game throughout the whole link. The rest of the time, I was either first or second. Just saying that.
Hold a minute. Didn't you have a Ford Cortina on the
Yeah,
last
that was
day?
the game. That was the game.
Oh,
That
okay.
that was the game where I came. I came like mid-table out of like 10 or 11, but every other game first or second. Like the first three games we played, I went first, second, first. So
Nice.
just a professional gamer. What can we say?
Okay.
Anyway, moving on before we get flamed in the comments.
I think
Um,
we're going to get flamed anyway, no matter what.
oh, of course we will. Of course we will. Because people will be like, "Oh, why don't you play?" Oh, we didn't play Rainbow Six, did we?
I mean,
No one.
to be fair. Oh no! Didn't they?
No.
I think so. I think what happened, they tried to boot up a game, and someone had their Ubisoft account locked,
Oh
and that's why they
wow.
and that and so and the only way that they would have had to have played Rainbow Six from the stuff from fresh again. And they weren't prepared to do
Oh.
it, so I think that's why the game never actually sort of came into existence.
Oh, fun times. Fun
Yeah.
times.
Okay,
Um.
Beef. I
What?
want to talk about, and we're going to move on
Go on.
slightly, but it's obviously still about the link. I want to talk about what the fans thought,
Yep. Yep.
um, because people have said stuff on TikTok, on Twitter, and I've been live streaming. People have had their opinions on it all, so I think that this is a real good opportunity for us to address everything in terms of the setup of the link for the audience for on TikTok and the live streams both on TikTok Live and on Twitch and on YouTube, and sort of talk about sort of the approaches we did, what changed during the week, what we thought worked, what we didn't think worked, what we're going to
Yep.
hope to improve on in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll start off with going sort of more into depth around, and we can also discuss this around a few comments that we had on TikTok, basically saying that there was a lack of gaming content, or should we say, people weren't as engaged as they were last year, and it didn't pop like it did last year. And I did a TikTok on this a couple of nights ago, and I basically said I think it's for two main reasons. One, obviously, last year was the first time that we brought the link up to the masses from a social media perspective. So I don't think you're going to get as much of a pop unless you're seeing it brand new.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think last year it was just me. That was it. There was no you. There was a little bit of you last year, but no, literally last year it was just me on TikTok Live for 6 hours a day, answering the same questions over and over again for 6 hours every day. And at the end of those 6 hours, I was absolutely ruined, like absolutely ruined, like both my voice and just mentally drained from people going, "Where does everyone sleep? How much is electricity? Do you not all have jobs, etc., etc.?" And answering the same question again. And also last year, the camera was in a completely different spot, and we'll obviously come on to this in a bit. In that last year I was facing a wall as I am now, and you could see everything behind me. And last year I was sat in the middle of the room of the house that we were in, and you could probably see, so behind me you had Vedic and Sentry, you could see Acidic Virus, you could see Massanevra, you could see Man Like
Let's.
Adrian, Lex, so you could see like 5 or 6 people all behind me, and it was fairly easy to see that what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this year, we decided, right, we're not going to go live for the same amount of time because there's a few people in the link up group who aren't that social media friendly, which is fine. But we want to make sure that their experience stays the same and that we all enjoy the link up to the same level that we've always enjoyed it. And we still, but from our perspective, as in me and Devastate and the other people who are on the social media that you see now, we still are able to share it with you guys so that you get to see an insight from our perspective as to what games we play, what takeaways we do, what's going on in the room. Oh, sorry, what's going on in the room, etc., etc. So we wanted to tone down the amount of time we were on live, but try and make it a little bit different to what it was last year. Because last year, honestly, it was the same few questions asked over and over again.
Yeah.
So this year, we went live pretty much at the same time every evening for 1 to 2 hours, something like that. Devastate was on Twitch. I was on TikTok. Acidic Virus is also on Twitch as well. And we had the camera pointing initially at the start. We had it pointing at me, but then we moved it to sort of pointing at the four of us, including Ace as well. And I think it worked okay. I think, and Devastate and I talked about this before we jumped on to record this today, is that maybe we need a bit more personalization on the from a camera angle perspective. So I think next year we'll probably have not just one camera on each of us, but maybe multitude. So you can see not only my face and Devastate's face, but you can also see us as and obviously it depends where the link up is next year. The
Yeah.
venues next year hasn't even really been talked about. But depending on where the venue is next year, will then obviously determine where people going to sit, how many people are going to be there. If it's at the same venue again as it was this year, I think we're fine for space. So we will do probably something mildly similar from a layout perspective to what we did this year. But yeah, anything to
Yeah.
add to that?
Yeah, and I will just add, I echo all the sentiments you said there. There was just something that I would also say in that when it is actually impossible for us to go live for the whole day
Yeah,
and in the evening for the simple reason that some of the people at Link Up do have children
yep,
who are there, and we want to protect their anonymity. So we don't want them to appear on any of the live streams. I hope, obviously, our audience would appreciate that. So that's why we sort of put these dedicated sort of time blocks together. I think we probably were a little bit too rigorous with those. And I think we probably could have expanded it slightly and probably done sort of a midday one and an evening one,
yep.
and almost done two a day for an hour and a half at a time, or 2 hours at a time, a max. But I think that ultimately, I think that I would ask our audience to. We're still learning this. This is
Yeah,
new. And we're trying to do a whole multitude of stuff in the social space, obviously by doing this podcast, doing Twitch, doing TikTok, running the event itself, and making sure that all flows and that everyone who turns up enjoys themselves. I know for me personally, I felt this was one of the best link ups we've ever had, and I'm not I'm the fact that didn't come across on stream, the fact that I think that people felt a little bit maybe shortchanged as to
yeah.
what it was. Like it's a bit of a disappointment to me, and that we didn't give them the experience that I wanted our audience to have. But ultimately, we will always seek to improve and create better and richer experiences for all of our audience across all of our platforms. And so, I would say, look, bear with us. We're gonna do things better, bigger, brighter in the future.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think I'd definitely agree with that as well. And I think it's also difficult for us if no one says that during the week in terms of giving us the feedback. It's very
Yeah.
difficult for us to then go, oh well, look, we need to change or flip things on the fly.
Hmm.
Whereas obviously I did the video to TikTok. It was the last day of the link up. We're all packing up, etc., etc. Then people were then commenting, and then oh, okay, right, it's given us something to reflect on and go, oh, okay, look, this is what people are seeing. But there was still a huge amount of
Yeah.
positive sentiment in there as well. And I think if we just went on views, if we went just on views, we got just under 1 million views in a week on just TikTok, which is still ridiculous for such a tiny channel and the amount of content that we threw out.
Yeah.
Because in reality, if the TikTok app was able to give us multiple logins, Devastate could have a login, I could have a login, Ace could have a login, anyone else could have a login, and we could be putting out 10, 20 videos a day quite comfortably from a multitude of different perspectives.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's coming from me because I created the account. So if you're looking at it just from a TikTok point of view, I kind of get your point. But then it's something that we need to work on next year to make sure we include. And we obviously touched on this before. Devastate is we need to include a bit more gaming.
Yeah.
So
100%.
we started off the week talking about the gaming, but then I obviously got COVID, which definitely didn't help things. And then I don't want to say it went off the rails a little bit, but it was mostly food related. Which obviously there's a whole load of people on social media who love the idea of what takeaways are we getting, etc., etc. How much are you spending? Where are you ordering from? Are you having pineapple on your pizza, etc., etc. but there is a huge swathe of people who want to know what games we're playing. So that's obviously something to learn on from
Yeah.
next year. Um,
And I think just on that, I think if you consider that we got around that million viewpoint pretty much just from food,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
pretty damn wild. And
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
and so, uh, in it, look, in an ideal world, I would have OBS running on every single person's machine, capturing all of the content of every day. That's almost 100 hours of gameplay every day. We would chuck that at an editor and within 10 hours produce the highlights of day one video.
yeah,
And it'll be a big YouTube video. It'll be loads of TikTok content, and we'd have that every single day for the week. Unfortunately, we are still small, and we do dream big, but at the moment we only have us that can do
yeah,
stuff. And if that's, I would have to be sat there like finish at 1 a.m. in the morning, but I then have to be up at 3 a.m. editing a video to get it out the following day before I start gaming again. So
yeah, yeah,
unfortunately streaming became sort of, it was the way of us demonstrating
yeah.
the gameplay. Now, one thing that we probably should have thought about, maybe in a way, was could we have recorded the TikTok VOD
Stream.
and
Yeah,
then uploaded that VOD onto YouTube? Should we have just? Should we just? I know it's probably a question in the comments. We of all the TikTok, sorry, of all the Twitch streams, would you like to see them on YouTube? I could take all of those Twitch streams and stick them onto YouTube
and
as
same with
VODs. Can we
yeah,
do
same
that
with
with
the TikTok
TikTok?
ones. Yeah, so all the TikToks are technically downloaded to my account, but I have to then download them from the account. So I
Okay,
think they stay. I don't know how long they stay in there for, but TikTok automatically will then cut each video up and give you sort of highlight reels that you can then post if you want. But
okay.
I've never ever used them because I've never thought they're that good. But in theory, the live streams which I did on TikTok, we could put them onto YouTube if we
But
wanted.
let's do that. Let's so that is a commitment that we will get by the end of the week. We'll have day one up, and what we'll probably do is just have a little bit of a, because we obviously need to do all the thumbnails and stuff like that. But I will make that commitment to get all of our Twitch and TikTok live streams that we did. They will be up on YouTube, so we'll
And,
make that commitment to you, so you
and,
can
and
go and
also
watch it
something,
all easily.
yeah, and also something that sort of sprung to mind from a time frame perspective is we obviously stream pretty much at the same time every evening, and we were usually playing the same game every evening, weren't we?
Yeah,
Golf with your friends, or towards the end of the week, 7 days to die. Whereas I think to your point earlier, if we did a stream, I don't know, midday, we would have absolutely been playing some form of RTS, wouldn't we?
yeah. I mean,
Whether it
would have been playing Sins.
Sins,
Um,
Northgard,
yeah,
anything like that. And that would obviously then have a different spin on it because you're then playing a completely different game. But to Devastate's point earlier, we cannot stream the whole thing all the time because there are at one point one, two, three. We had 5 kids in the link up
yeah,
venue at one point, and obviously we can't have them on stream at all. We had also guests turn up of the so people who are not part of the link up in terms of they're going to be there every day, but they're friends of the link up and they came along, and obviously they've got no a few of them have got no desire to be on stream either.
yeah.
So
And some of them legally can't be on
yeah,
social media, so we have to respect, like in certain jobs that they do, they have to be off of it. So we have to respect everyone's privacy who can't be involved in it.
yeah. But then also Devastate, you would have missed this because you weren't there on the Saturday. We actually said that at the venue that we were at, if the host would be so inclined, we could do 4-man link ups over like a weekend quite easily where we were sat, because obviously that's where
Yes.
the dining room table would go. Just move the dining room tableware into that other room that we put it into, and you could do a 4-person link up, like you said, all done to OBS over sort of a couple of days.
Yeah.
And that could be something we could potentially look at as a mid-year mini link up, because I know.
Oh, I mean that's a dirty little teaser there, surely.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, one thing we haven't covered is, what was your favourite takeaway of the week?
Oh, okay. I'll tell you what. Why don't I give you Miami Central one? I'll give you my best breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, go on then.
Okay. So breakfast, without one shadow of a doubt, was the Toby breakfast.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. And I would say
it-
my Toby breakfast as well. So I had a double sausage, double bacon bab, and that was like amazing.
Yeah.
But Devastate's breakfast that he had from Toby Carvery was just an absolute extraordinary amount of food. Like, go watch the TikTok back on.
I'll drop the highlight video like just here. And you're gonna watch it. For those of you who are like listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you just need to go to the TikTok channel to watch it. But yes, it was incredibly big, vast breakfast. We'll say that.
Yeah.
So I'm going Toby for breakfast. Lunch.
I'm looking at all the places we had for lunch. Because I missed out on a couple of the ones I really wanted to. Like, I missed out on Five Guys. I would have loved to get involved in the Five Guys, but I was ill that day.
I think so. We had. I'm gonna go. We had a local baguette shop. Did a big delivery. I always really like their baguettes. So
spent 130 pounds there over the week.
Wild.
Yeah. Lunch for me would probably have to be that Korean chicken place.
Oh yes. Which I haven't tried yet. So I'm gonna try and find one of them locally.
I had the sriracha chicken burger and chips twice over the week, and honestly, it was so good, and like the fact that it obviously is just a local independent place and they got the order right. It didn't take an eternity to get here, was an absolute win for me. And then dinner. I mean, for me, it's that local independent pizza place that we got it from. That pizza was just...
it's so good. The pizza's so good. I'm trying to think, did I have anything different?
I mean, the Honest Burger I had was good. The Chinese that we had was also really good. The kebab wrap at the start of the week was incredible.
So my favourite evening takeaway was from a local Lebanese restaurant, and they do a boneless baby chicken, and it is some of the juiciest chicken I've ever eaten. This beats. I talked in a previous podcast we did this about how Nando's was like overrated.
Yeah.
This is miles cheaper than a Nando's. The quality is through the roof. Comes with chips and a salad. It is absolutely gorgeous, and it is, and in value for money wise, I would in fact go as far to say that is my favourite. No, in fact, no. Let's not be silly here. That's in my top 5 takeaways you can buy.
And you know the worst thing about it? That was the day that I had COVID, so I couldn't get involved in it.
Yeah.
I was in bed, dying, essentially. And then when I found out he had ordered it the day after, when I come back, I was like, oh, you're joking. Because I've always wanted to order from this place as well, because I obviously know about it. And the fact that Devastate managed to order it when I was in my deathbed.
So, Lex and Century also got it. And they said it was superb.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Anyway, moving on. What does the next couple of months look like for us from
yeah,
a Raw Link Up perspective? So obviously, Devastate and I are going to continue to do the podcast. We'll be getting all of the guys on to give you their reflections of the Link Up. Obviously, we haven't actually had. There's a few people we haven't had on the podcast yet at all. So the likes of Vedic being one, potentially Lex as well. And then there's other people who are part of the Link Up crew who weren't at this year's but still want to be part of the podcast as well. So there's still more people to get on there as well.
yep.
We will continue reviewing the post Link Up, should we say, or debriefing with those folk as well. Streaming wise, I know Devastate and I are going to continue streaming on both TikTok and Twitch as well. I've just got, and you wouldn't have seen this, Devastate. I've just got the new Ark game.
Ooh,
So my
okay.
my two kids love dinosaurs, so I told them I'll get the new Ark Survival Ascended game. And Devastate, what you won't believe is free on Game Pass. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it'd be like 30, 40 quid. And then I was like, oh, I'll have a look, see if it's available on Game Pass. And it's free on Game Pass. I was like, download. So then we on the Friday or the Saturday when Devastate wasn't there, I ran it on like ultra on Epic graphics on my new PC, on my new monitor, and oh my days, it's on as a spectacle of just what it looks like is fantastic. So I'll definitely be streaming some of that, definitely doing some more X Defiant. League of Legends, all the guys. Well, there's five of the guys from the Link Up playing 7 Days to Die right now in our other Discord channel that we've got. So definitely doing some 7 Days to Die because that's clearly a big fan favorite at the moment as
Well,
well.
so that's the thing. So I was on Twitch before recording this, and I've never played 7 Days to Die. I don't own it, but Twitch absolutely flamed me for never playing it. So I now feel completely bullied into buying the game and playing it. So
Well,
you might.
I bought it. I bought it years and years and years ago, but I'd never played it. So like a lot of the crew, like Lex and Rage, have played it loads and loads and loads.
Mhm.
I bought it all those years ago, but I've never played it. So this Link was the first time I've ever played it. So I was streaming it on Saturday afternoon, and it was literally the second time I'm playing it. And it's like I've got people on my on TikTok basically telling me how to play the game because I've got no idea what I'm doing. But it was actually a pretty like I quite enjoyed it. Like it's got elements of sort of arc in it in terms of you're doing the survival. You've got to find your sort of raw materials to build your buildings, your guns, your weapons, your tools, etc. But then you've got the when 10 o'clock, yeah, when 10 o'clock at night comes around, the zombies essentially come out, and if it's horde night, you've got to have a special base where you've got to essentially survive the night with clubs, guns, batons, machinery, etc., etc. Otherwise, yeah, you're dead. So yeah, generally thought it was a really good game.
I not committing to it. I might give it a go. Not sure. Um, we'll leave that for the moment. There's just a couple more points, Beam, I just want to talk about. Um,
Yep,
so, firstly, what was being requested when we do streaming is could we arrange maybe so people know the sort of the voices of the gamers
yep,
now. Would we do a stream maybe once a month that like we can have all of them in the channel in the same way that we sort of people watch us played Golf with Your Friends, and everyone was on the channel. There's sort of almost a request for not a physical link up, but like a
yep.
once a week get together, and we do gaming for a day. With like
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah,
can
yeah,
hear us.
yeah.
I'm streaming. They can hear everyone playing games, etc. I think there's something there. I think quite like that
A-
idea.
Absolutely, because that was something that Rage and I were talking about as we were packing up. In that, yeah, obviously you and I can stream just you and I, or we're both on stream together on different platforms. But Rage was very much up for being part of that sort of thing, if
Yeah.
you call it. And what
Okay.
was your second point?
So that was sort of like the request for coming up, and then just a couple. I'll just go run two things. Suggestions for next year.
Yep.
So the first thing was almost like a wheel of games. So
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
spin the wheel to create random moments. Now I think we'd have to. I quite like the idea. Um, the issue is if you've got to pay money for the game and then the game costs 20 quid, no one's going to do that. So I think
We'd have to, like,
we'd have to
yeah, we'd have to like
curate a
tent.
list. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to like tent it. So you'd have a select number of games, and let's say there's 10 games or whatever that everyone's either got or can get quite easily because it's quite a small download or something. Even though the venue that we're at this year was a decent internet speed, if a game is 50 gig to download and you've got 10 people to download it, it's still going to take a bit of time. And obviously, if we're on live, you don't want to sit there going, "Oh, just waiting on Devastate to download, then I'm going to download, etc., etc." So I think we'd have to curate that list to your point and have a select group of games which we could then just jump in and do straight away.
Yeah, I agree. And then the final one, which I love this idea, was almost like a World Series of Gamers, but in the way of almost like a heptathlon event. So
Yeah,
each day there is one game that is selected as the competitive game. It might be you might have an RTS, and you might have a first-person shooter, then you might have a puzzle game, then you might have a racing game. And so for each of the days that link, we have one of the games is selected as the competitive game. Now, if you then finish first, you get 10 points, ninth 9, 7, 7, all the way down to 1 or 0. And then at the end of the week, the top 3 with the most points is crowned the champion.
the winner. Yep.
And
No,
we
I
have, and we
really
have,
like
and
the
we,
idea of that.
maybe we have a podium, and maybe we have like medals. I mean, we've teased that sort of stuff before, but I think that is the only way to systemically prove who the best gamer is.
Yep. I agree with that.
I think that is the only way that everyone can accept the result.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair. And I think it's also we decided at the start of the week, so we're right.
Oh yeah,
Sunday it's this game, Monday this game, etc., etc.
yeah.
And
There's
then
a whole
the
plan, and that is streamed, so all of the chat can see it. They can
yeah,
see the game as well. So we make it
yeah,
more of like that is the gaming spectacular moment, and that we have a live chart that
yeah.
updates the end of the day, so everyone can see the league table essentially.
We'll get Master Never's whiteboard out and put it behind one of us.
That's it. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that wraps up this episode of the podcast. Thank you all for listening. If you are not already following and liking, we would really subscribe it. We would really appreciate if you subscribed as well. If you want to see any of the content from the link up, do follow the TikTok account. But Devastate and I will both be streaming on both TikTok and Twitch in the next coming weeks. I know Devastate did some streaming on Twitch today. I'll be doing some on TikTok Studio probably Thursday or Friday evening, something like that. Maybe Saturday night. But yeah, that is it from me. I am your host, the Amazing Sniper Beef.
And I have been Devastate.
Cheers, guys.
See you later. Bye bye.
Bye.